Hi, I'm Chef Frank, and this is ProtoCooks. Today we're going to learn how to butcher a chicken. A lot of people don't like to mess around with chicken. They're afraid of salmonella. They're afraid of getting things dirty. Couple of easy tips for that is buy a nice chicken. Don't buy bargain basement chicken, first of all. Second of all, don't wash your chicken. People tend to put their chicken in the sink and wash it. I've even heard people of bleaching their chicken, and that's ridiculous, okay? No soap, no bleach. You don't need to wash it. Take it out of the package and throw the package out. Make sure the juice doesn't get everywhere, right? We can sanitize this area after we cook. So as long as you're not dripping chicken juice all over your kitchen, you should be fine. Washing the chicken really doesn't do anything because bacteria will wash off into your sink, and then you have this wet, bacteria-laden chicken that's going to be tracked across your kitchen. So what I like to do is basically take it out of the package, get some paper towels, dab it dry, and then basically put it on my cutting board, okay? After I'm done here, I'll wash the cutting board with hot soapy water. If I need to, I'll bleach it. I'll get some of the bleach spray in the areas, and no one's going to get sick. For the most part, any bacteria that's on the chicken is going to get cooked, and it's going to die, right? One thing you should also do is make sure that this chicken isn't sitting out for a long time. If you leave it out on the counter and it gets warm, that's when bacteria grow, and that's how you get sick. So make sure the chicken's cold when you cut it, okay? So we're going to get into this. I have a boning knife, which is a stiff boning knife. It's firm, it's really sharp. I run it over my steel, and what the steel does is it hones the knife. The knife is sharp. The steel is going to hone the blade so it stays nice and sharp. Okay. I always start off by taking off the wings, right? So you got these wing joints that are the flats. I take those off, and I take off the wing tip, okay? I'm gonna put everything I'm using for stock on one plate, and then everything I'm gonna cook on another plate. So I'm gonna use those those flats, and I'm gonna roast them off, okay? Stock or broth, and then what I'm gonna cook, okay? So the wings come off fairly easy. All you gotta do is find the joint and cut. Okay, and the way I find the joint is I move the joints around. So if you move the joints around, you can see where it hinges, and you cut it there, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to separate the legs. And all you have to do is cut the skin where the legs and the breast meet, okay? I'm going to turn this around so you can see it from the other side. Cut the skin. I want to try and leave the skin on the breast intact, because I want the skin on my breast because I'm going to roast it, okay? And now that this is separated, okay, I'm going to take the chicken and I'm going to pop out the joints, right? There's two joints here, okay? I twist this back and you'll see the joints pop out right there. I got two joints that popped out, okay? And then I'm going to turn my chicken over and cut off my legs, okay? From the other side, if you do from the other side, you just cut it off. You find the joint, and you cut straight down. Okay? Okay, so my legs are off. I'm going to put them aside for a second or two. They still get like ice, guys. And then I'm going to remove the breasts, okay? And there's a couple of ways you can do this. For this one, I'm going to take the breasts off. I'm going to leave the little wing joint on and cut it off later. But what I'm going to use these for is just kind of roast the whole breast. I'm going to cut these. What you'll do is you'll feel down the center, and there's a bone, which is basically the breastbone. And I'm going to cut on either side of that breastbone. Okay, so I make a cut through the skin. I cut on one side. I cut on the other side. Okay, and the breast starts to come off, right? I use most of my knife. A lot of people will get in here and start doing it like they're a surgeon. I use most of my knife to cut this off. And I keep the back side of my knife close to where the bones are. Okay, so I'm just making nice, long, smooth cuts until I get to this wing joint. And when I get to the wing joint, if I wiggle it around, you can see the wing joints right there. I cut it off, and I have a beautiful, this is called a supreme of chicken. From the other side, I turn it around, and I just kind of cut down. Okay, wiggle that joint, cut the joint, okay? I'm not going to throw the carcass away. This is chicken stock. You should not throw this out. Use it for chicken stock. We're going to make chicken broth out of it, okay? So we have two really nice chicken breasts, okay? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut off the little wingette, That is for hot wings. Okay, cut the other wing off. And then we can roast these breasts whole. So you want to take it a next step, you can take the skin off and you just peel the skin off to the next step. And you have a chicken breast that you would normally get. And I always find that on chickens that you buy whole, the breasts are a little smaller. Nowadays, when you go to the store and buy chicken breasts, they're huge, they're gigantic. But I find these are a little more tender and a little better for eating, okay? And from here, you can cut cutlets out of it, or you can just roast it whole. You can cut a pocket in it or stuff it, okay? So I have my 2 breasts, and now I got my legs and thighs, okay? And the way I deal with legs and thighs is I basically just cut them apart. And you'll see, if you look here, there's a line of fat. In every chicken, there's a bit of a line of fat there. If you put your knife on that line of fat and move it over about 1/4 of an inch, you'll always find the joint, and you slice through the joint, okay? And now you have your legs and thighs. I find cutting my own chickens, I mean, I'm a professional chef, so it's kind of a more advanced technique here, but I find this to be a more economical way. I get a better product because when they grow chickens for parts, usually you get these huge kind of like monstrous alien parts of chickens. But when you get a chicken that's 3 to 4 pounds, you're going to get really nice pieces of chicken that are good for roasting, right? Good for making cutlets, okay? So I have this line, I go close to the leg, and I cut through the joint, okay? I'm gonna put my plate up here, and we'll look at our cuts. Chicken breast with the skin and without the skin. We have our wing joints, we have our wings, our drumettes and our flats, and then we have our legs and thighs. We also have all of our bones here that should not go in the trash. We should use this for stock, which is a whole other video. That's how you cut a chicken.